Sometimes the smallest practices can make the most impact. Today, we will look at some high-leverage classroom practices and a tool to ensure we are implementing in an equitable way. Research has shown 3 practices can make a large impact on outcomes. These are greeting students, active engagement, and positive reinforcement. These practices also happen to be trauma-informed. Greeting students daily with a handshake or a quick conversation is the first chance of the day to set students up for success. Providing students with opportunities to respond is an academic as well as a social-emotional check-in or screener. Students need positive acknowledgments and behavior-specific feedback. Using a 5-to-1 ratio of positive reinforcement versus negative feedback is where you will begin to see behavior change. It is important to be deliberate to ensure we are providing equitable acknowledgments and praise for students. Even with the best of intentions, we could use reminders and feedback to help implement practices. The Be Positive app is a tool to help monitor and increase rates of positive descriptive feedback, active engagement, and behavior-specific praise. The app is free and can be added to iOS or Android devices. Once you download it, take a look at the options on the home screen. You can set up reminders for specific behaviors. You can create alarms on scheduled days and times. You can count the number of times something happens, or you can track your progress. Let's take a closer look at some of the functions and how it can help to increase positive reinforcement and active engagement. The reminder button is the top one on the application, and that has 2 functions. It will remind you to provide opportunities to respond or specific praise, and you can use either one or both at the same time. So you'll want to use the specific praise one if you're really trying to hone in on that 5-to-1 to make sure you're acknowledging those behaviors, and the opportunities to respond will really help with making sure you have student engagement. So in this here, I have my opportunities to respond set for every 3 minutes and my specific praise set for every 5 minutes. I can also use the plus sign at the bottom of the screen to add in a particular student that I'm really trying to implement the 5-to-1 ratio for. So here I'm going to add in CC. It allows you to put their name there, and I will put her frequency for every 5 minutes, and I can put it as a fixed rate, which means it will let me know every 5 minutes, or variable, and it will just let me know at a certain time within that 5-minute time frame. And I can set that for her, and I can do that for as many students as I want. You'd push start, and there's also a counter on the bottom that you may use if you want to, and that way you can count how many times you are providing the praise. You don't have to do this, but it's just another tool to use to keep track of how many times and how often you are providing those student acknowledgments or opportunities to respond. If there are specific times you would like reminders for, you can use the pre-correction alarm. Pre-correction can help avoid incidents by reminding students of expectations prior to challenging times. For example, I'm implementing the evidence-based practice of greeting students at the door daily. I have set this for Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. I will also add in a pre-correction reminder prior to a transition time of day to remind students of hallway expectations. So I will name this dismissal and set it for Monday through Friday at 2:30. You can even use the pre-correction tool to check in on you. For example, take a minute of meditation time prior to going to lunch duty or to a meeting that you might anticipate could be challenging. You can also use the counter without a reminder if you are coaching, doing a classroom visit, or collecting data on implementation. Maybe you want to track the number of positive acknowledgments you give during the day, or you want to track active engagement. Be Positive can do that. Once you know what you'd like to count, start the timer and start keeping track. At the end of the session, you'll know exactly how many times you acknowledged students or gave them an opportunity to respond. If you click on Stats, you can look at data and progress over time. The session feature will display a graph displaying the number of times an action was completed during each session. So, for example, how many opportunities to respond were in a 30-minute lesson. It can also show progress over time. So perhaps in your MTSS action plan, your team set a goal for implementing a 5-to-1 ratio of positive acknowledgements. This can tell if these positive acknowledgements are increasing over time or if there is just an initial implementation bump that levels off. The stats can also be easily texted or emailed to others. Building relationships is crucial in impacting your school climate. Acknowledging students for their effort goes a long way in building a positive culture. Be Positive provides an easy, accessible way to remind, count, and track all the times you offer positive acknowledgments and opportunities for engagement to your students every day. For more information on the free Be Positive app, search Be Positive on pbis.org or find it in the App Store on your device. Thank you for joining us for Pop-Up Practices, where practice makes progress.